Diddy like shooting people, blowing up cars.
Yeah.
Is he this gangster that behind the scenes is that him? Or is that people
Shout
running?
out to Wendy Williams.
And what's really going to be interesting is the parade of celebrities who we expect to be mentioned and or called into that courtroom. You know, people who we hadn't heard about prior, like Mike Myers, you know, Austin Powers, Mike Myers. Why is he getting called? Why is he on the witness list? That'll be fascinating. And then, of course, there are the no-name, quote unquote,
Punisher's deviation, though Diddy is currently behind bars. If even a fraction of the allegations against him are true, then the empire he ran was never a one-man operation. It was and, perhaps, still is a far-reaching network of agents, executives, image makers, and enforcers who kept the gears running smoothly. And like any well-built machine, even if one piece breaks down, the rest can keep spinning. Those who know how the game is played point to the ones behind the scenes, gatekeepers, with clean reputations but long memories. This wasn't just about power, it was about possession. Young artists weren't merely mentored, they were marked. Once inside the inner ring, the path forward narrowed, and the way out nearly disappeared. The names being whispered in studio. Halls and backstage at award shows haven't made it into official indictments yet. But those murmurs tell a story of a sealed-off circle where what happens behind the curtain stays there, unless someone decides to pull it back. And if Warner truly attempted to open that curtain, armed with credibility, a podcast platform, and a new generation of listeners, then his death starts to feel less coincidental and more deliberate. The most unsettling part, the people still protecting the narrative. Warner's final podcast episodes took a turn less nostalgia, more edge. He spoke more freely about exploitation in entertainment and about surviving the system with dignity. But buried in the tone was something heavier. It sounded like a man preparing for something big, maybe even dangerous. Cashier night, Pulliams. Public memorials were loving, but cryptic. Her phrase, "I just needed a moment," carried weight far beyond grief, and the repeated mention of our girls, a reference to both their daughters, has sparked speculation that Warner had taken steps to shield not just his own family, but hers too. People close to the two say Warner had become increasingly private before his passing. He turned down appearances. He added private security to events that used to be low-key. He wasn't vacationing like someone looking to unwind. He was moving like a man.
Blowing up cars. Is he this gangster that behind the scenes is that him? Or is that people
Shout
running?
out to Wendy Williams.
And bracing for something. A trusted source close to Warner's inner circle claims he'd begun warning his loved ones to be careful expressing concern that certain people from his past had reappeared in unsettling ways. There was even talk of him considering a quiet exit from public life by year's end, a retreat, not from fame, but from something closing in. If true, it casts a dark shadow over those final days, replacing images of sunny beaches with unspoken dread. What's even more chilling is how silent his inner circle has remained since. No interviews, no clarifications, just short, tightly worded tribute sand in Pulliam's case. Radio silence, where warmth and openness used to be. It's not just grief, it's restraint. Like people holding a secret too heavy to carry out loud. Some say Warner had already begun compiling Notes digital files, ideas, names. One version of events claims his family discovered sensitive material on his laptop.
Early morning swim, he had gone out to the coastline just before sunrise, and a little after sunrise got into the water. Not too many details about what exactly happened once he was in the water, but authorities did end up finding his body actually hundreds of yards away down the shoreline. His body was discovered in a rocky cove. It was brushed up against that.
After his death, a list of collaborators and industry insiders he no longer trusted. Though the contents have never been released, rumors suggest that list could, if exposed, devastate multiple major entertainment institutions. In parallel, audio clips from Warner's final podcast episodes have been flagged by fans as suspicious. Distorted segments, timestamps missing. It's led to wild theories, but one consistent thread. Someone may have edited those files after his death. Someone who didn't want his final message to be too clear. Meanwhile, while Diddy's lawyers filed motions to downplay his charges, framing him as nothing more than a man who threw wild consensual parties, prosecutors painted a different picture, one of coercion, manipulation, and control, so complete it bordered on psychological imprisonment.
The judge right now is going through a number of different reasons. Again, very quick reporting indicates that the judge is citing to the defense attorney's own statements during the case that Sean Combs is a violent person, has had violent personal relationships. But of course, the defense said that doesn't mean he's guilty of racketeering. It looks like the judge is now using those statements to say.
Evidence introduced in court included disturbing footage, survivor testimonies, and descriptions of systemic exploitation that operated like a business model. Imagine Warner had seen that firsthand. Maybe not involved, but present. Maybe not a participant, but a confidant. Or maybe just a man too decent to look the other way forever. A producer who worked with Warner over a decade ago remembers a passing comment. Asterisk, he's got too many. People watching people. Warner said it when Diddy's name came up. At the time, it sounded like offhand commentary. Now, it reads like a red flag. Behind the scenes, several of Diddy's former inner circle, the ones who prosecutors said orchestrated or enabled many of the alleged crimes, have yet to face consequences. Not a charge, not a monitor. They're free. And if Warner had information that could have placed any of them under scrutiny, his silence would have become a ticking time bomb. Insiders say Warner's name did appear briefly and quietly. Pre-trial documents, redacted but traceable. A paralegal involved in the metadata sweep during discovery claims his digital footprint was tagged in certain files. The prosecution has declined to comment, but it raises one chilling question. Was he being considered as a witness? Even the smallest gestures from the industry have taken on darker meanings. A stylist who'd worked with both men.
I'm going to start with alleged victim number 4, who goes by the name Mia. It's an alias. She is one of the people who is testifying where the judge has granted her anonymity. She is on the stand, but everybody in the courtroom has been warned, do not reveal her identity.
Posted a solitary candle emoji with the caption, asterisk, not unexpected, but still hurts. The post was taken down hours later, but not before it caught fire online. This isn't conspiracy for conspiracy's sake. This is a pattern. The right people went quiet. The wrong ones stayed free. And someone who may have wanted to tell the truth wound up dead in the ocean, with only questions left behind. The system that may have swallowed him is still very much alive. Its players aren't just celebrities. They're handlers, gatekeepers, publicists, event planners, names you'll never hear unless they get caught. And for now, they haven't. So we're left with the unanswerable. Was Warner targeted? Were his final podcast drafts laying a trail toward something larger? Did he step too close to the edge of a secret that couldn't be tolerated? Because if Warner wasn't just a beloved actor and musician, but also a man sitting on knowledge that could shake the foundations of a toxic empire,